Now I'm hot, thank you. Do you all agree I'm hot? Thank you. Welcome, everybody, to the Balboa Yacht Club, where we're here for the 59th edition of the Governor's Cup, the oldest and most prestigious, right? Anybody disagree with that? Oldest and most prestigious youth match racing championship in the world. I'm your host, Tom Eman, until we get Andy Rose up here in a moment. He is going to conduct the semi-finals press conferences. Welcome again to the show, and we will do 3 more shows tomorrow. 0900 here. We'll do the morning show, pre-race morning show, live. Then we'll be out on the water doing the racing coverage again for the end of the semis and the finals and the consolation matches. That starts at 11:30 Pacific. What time is that UTC? 18:30 UTC. Then we will come back in here in the press conference tomorrow night with the finalist skippers, and then followed immediately by the awards. We'll start at 5 o'clock at 1700. Thank you for joining us for this Day 4 press conference. And let me introduce now our chairman of the Governor's Cup Steering Committee, Gov Cup guru, and 2-time winner of the Governor's Cup from this Balboa Yacht Club, Andy Rose.
You know, I remember that applause when I won my 2, and that's why I've stayed with the Governor Cup ever since, just hoping again, please. I need an applause line there, you know?
Andy, we're calling up the 2 semifinalist skippers from today. It was a fascinating day of racing with some changes. You want to talk about that for a sec?
Yeah, we started the day with 7 potential, out of the 12, 7 teams could have made the semifinals. And that, I haven't, you know, we talked about it, Tom, and some of the other veterans here. I don't know that that's happened in a long time. And I think Jeffrey Peterson said the same thing. And that's pretty awesome. The interesting thing was that, well, they were 1 at 15, 2 at 13, 3 at 12. And then there was poor Morgan Pinckney at 11. We saw Morgan was over here at the scoreboard yesterday. He says, "I'm out of it." And I said, "You're not." Yeah, no, you're not. I was right. He came back, you know, brilliantly. The day of sailing today the conditions were great. We talked about how close the sailing is this year, and the most evenly matched fleet we've had in a long time. You will eventually, you know, if you want to see the video, we have some video which proves that. But one of my favorite races today was the race that was decided by, well, how many feet do you think?
That was a half a boat.
Do you think
length
Morgan
or
beat?
something.
Yeah, it was, and you know,
Fantastic match. 2 lead changes.
yeah,
Great stuff.
so it's exciting. Anyway, let's get these people up here.
Well, I think we might start with
that's right.
JP.
We'll start with Jeffrey Peterson, who is much more popular than us, but only because he's younger. But you know.
Is he hot?
Jeffrey, what do you think about today?
Look, I think that was a great day of sailing. I think it's few and far between that we get a Friday that's as exciting as today was. I think I was more excited for the last 2 races of the round robin than I was for the semifinal racing. Not that the semifinal racing hasn't been great. And, you know, 2-0, you can say whatever you want about the 2-0, and we'll talk about that in a little bit. But the last 2 races of the round robin, having 7 teams, that might be a record. I don't know. I'm not a statistician, but I would say that is a record of 7 teams that are eligible. And, you know, I mean, like, I'm looking at Kelly Holtis here in the eyes earlier in the morning. He goes, "I don't know, man." And he goes, and I looked at him, I said, "Miracles happen every day." And he goes, "Do 3 miracles in a row happen?" And I said, "Well, today might be the day." And today was the day. And look at you now. You're sitting 2-0 in the semifinals going into Saturday.
I asked Morgan this afternoon, I said, did you still think this morning that you were out of it? And he said, "Oh, yeah." But, you know, he's a surfer, so they don't quite sometimes get it. And a fisherman, so, you know.
I mean, I think that's the greatest thing about our sport, though, is you're not out of it until you're mathematically out of it. And when you have a mathematical chance to get in, it's just as good as a chance as any.
Absolutely.
Right? All you can do is go out. You know, all they had to do was go out and win 2 races, and they went out and won 2 races.
Well,
and
they
won the
needed
rest.
some help.
They needed some help, but they did what they needed to do, right? At the end of the day, you can only go out and win your 2 races, and then you send up a little prayer and you hope.
Yep. Well, you should have been here telling them that. They didn't believe me, but anyway.
Well, they believed in themselves because they went out and won 2 races.
There you
now
go.
They're sitting pretty 2-0 going into
Well, it was great to see. But anyway, just terrific racing, and I think you will enjoy the video because we got a lot of footage with the drones right above that finish, which was pretty cool. So
And Jeffrey was helping us too.
Jeffrey he was out there on the roving boat.
Yeah, there were some spicy finishes, some maybe almost collisions with the new race committee boat.
I believe that was
almost Spinnaker graces,
sort of a great, yes,
you know?
the grazing of the Spinnaker against the boat.
Here's my take on it. Right, we obviously sailed 2 races, semifinals today. Great races. The teams that are up 2-0, congratulations. You guys sailed phenomenal races. Don't go to sleep too comfortable tonight.
Oh, yeah.
If anything has told us about this regatta, you look at that scoreboard over there. It is incredibly tight. You have 7 teams going into the semifinals that could make it. You're up 2-0. The score might as well be 0-0 because you can go out tomorrow and you can lose 3 straight races, and now your ticket to the semis or ticket to the finals rather is gone. So I think there's a lot of great teams out there. There's 4 great teams in the semifinals, and whatever happened today, tomorrow's a new day, and you need to make sure that you come out and you're ready to race.
Well, we're going to do if the the leaders seem too complacent, we'll pull Peter Hurley and his crew in and just have them race against them and beat the hell out of them. So
Be a third boat, just going in there and messing up the race.
For those of you who haven't been around, Peter Hurley, he started off very slowly with his team from the East Coast, and then they got good. And on yesterday, they started off racing against the 2 co-leaders and beat both of them. So
you got to peak at the right time, and unfortunately for Pete and his team, they needed 1 or 2 more races to peek through. And I was talking with them. I was Zoom calling from my office building and my whiteboard there at midnight to take a breather from work and talk with them about it. But I think that's the beauty of the race. And that's the beauty of this regatta and the double round robin format. We've been a big proponent of that here. I'm a big proponent of that anywhere you go. Jordan Reese, if you're watching, switch to the double round robin instead of the quarterfinals. Quarterfinals are trash.
I'm not sure we can convince Jordan. We didn't invite a CYCA team, but Jordan's a great coach and has produced a whole bunch of winners this regatta, and a great guy, and a Governor's Cup veteran, in addition to the coach at CYCA. Anyway, well, Jeffrey, it is great to have you here. Tomorrow we will have, Jeffrey will be joined by Marius Westerland, who, if you saw him a bit Monday night, is not only a good sailor, but has a pretty amazing sense of humor. And he's Teo's brother. So
I wish we had him here because there was a press conference on a Friday not too long ago where the 4 of us were sitting here on stage, and it was I've never had someone wish bad dreams upon me. I never went to sleep so funky in my life. I didn't know what to think.
Well, Marius said just very calmly, he says, "Well, Jeffrey, I had a dream about you last night." And it went from there. So
pause. What do you mean?
Anyway, thank you, Jeffrey. Let's get the first 2 semifinalists up here. Thanks, mate.
And those first 2 semifinalists are Josh Hyde from New Zealand, the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron, and Sienna Nichols from the Balboa Yacht Club here. Anywhere you like.
Josh has been giggling for about 3 days. But 2-0 is an interesting result. But I have seen, as Jeffrey has seen, many times when 2-0 turns into 3-2. And I think that's all still possible. Being a semifinalist, though, in this Governor's Cup, I think is incredible because the fleet is so good. From everything from the steering, the tactics, the boat speed, the crew work. So congratulations to both of you for being here. But now we got to talk about what happened. So Josh, first give us your version of what happened today with 2-0 win.
Yeah, so certainly was a pretty tough day for us. We had a lot of really close races across all four of them today, but especially once we got to the semis, it really hasn't been an easy run for us. We in our first race really managed to hold on by the skin of our teeth and just claw across the rest of the course and keep her just behind. And then in the second one, it was a little bit easier, but still really kept the pressure on us.
Yeah, you didn't do the final pass, I don't think, on the first one till very late in the game. Is that right?
I can't
Or
remember.
did you pretty much... Well, you're just a monkey. What would you know? What will your tacticians say? No, Sienna, you guys had been going great, and obviously, had a great early part of the day getting into the semifinals. And not only that, but in the third place position, which is pretty awesome. Tell us about your day.
Yeah, I mean, the start of the day was definitely like stressful. I mean, I don't like look at results or anything, but I could kind of like get the vibe that I needed to like, clutch the last two. But yeah, I mean, I think we kind of just went into it knowing that like, we got to do our best, do whatever. Like, I think that if we just sail like 100% and we like do our best, like, I think that like anything can happen. And yeah, so we just tried to do that. The first two races went well, ended up third. And then in the semis, yeah, we're just trying to keep up with it. But yeah, I mean, like being two down, like doesn't really, I mean, we have tomorrow. That's a brand new day. Like, I think anything can happen. I think today is a testament that anything can happen because, I mean, like the first two races, like a lot of people had like, different ones than they expected. And so, I mean, yeah, I mean, I'm looking forward to tomorrow, but I think today was a good way, even though last race didn't show it. I think our team ended well and we're looking forward to tomorrow. So.
Well, I think you, yeah. I think you proved that by the last of the two round robin races, which, mathematically, who knows, but you really had to win those. And you just came out and won them. And that is really impressive. I mean, I was saying earlier that boats that need to win races as opposed to race against someone that doesn't are generally going to win. And you proved that, very true. And so did Morgan. He started out thinking, well, if I win two races, I'm probably still out of it. But he wasn't. Josh, though, you've just been cruising up there. Somebody tied you one time this week, one evening, but the rest you've just been ahead. So is this pretty much a cakewalk?
I certainly wouldn't say that. I think it's been a really long and quite challenging week. We've just been building as much as we can every day, and every day we've gone back, had our debriefs, taken our learnings, and tried to implement what we've learned from there each day, and it's been working well, and the build's been good, and I think we're ready for our rest of our semis in a final series.
I think all of us were impressed. Jeffrey on the roving boat, and Tom and I, and Matt Whitfield in the booth with the crew work. We'd say one of you'd round the mark with, "Yep, that's a perfect set," and then the other one would round the mark, and it was a perfect set. We've always thought that a perfect set is when your stern is still level with the mark and your spinnaker is up and perfectly filling. And we saw a lot from you guys. It was just, we've always said the crews are incredibly important. They really are. I mean, because at that point, when the races are that close, you do a bad set or a bad takedown and you're a half a boat or a boat length or something. And when the races are being decided like this, that's crucial. So...
Yeah, I mean, it certainly is. And without the two boys, Ollie and Vass, beside me, none of it's really going to happen. But we've been putting a lot of work into making sure those little things are ironed out, and hopefully we don't fall into those little mistakes.
Well, you guys still have a great chance to, one of you, be the first Governor's Cup winner since the, what I call the Tapper-Peterson era, where they won 4 of 5, and the one that they didn't win, Jeffrey got second. So this is a new group here. Now, some of you are 22, so you better get it done this year. But I couldn't be more excited. It is great fun to commentate because the racing is so incredible. And all you, ladies and gentlemen are true ladies and gentlemen, but also funny and alive and engaged, and it's exciting. Thank you.
Thank you.
Very much.
Josh Hyde from New Zealand, Sienna Nichols here from Balboa, USA. Nice job, everybody. And next up will be our other semi-finalist pair, and we're doing this alphabetically. James Hayhoe from the Royal Sydney Yacht Squadron, and Morgan Pinkney from the US of A across the harbor here at Newport Harbor Yacht Club.
This is Morgan, rather be lucky than good, Pinckney. But no, you were not lucky. You came out on fire this morning. You still thought you couldn't make it, but you were sailing better in those two races than a lot of them we saw. What was going on?
Well, we thought it was over kind of a while ago, and we just decided to kind of have fun. And there are a lot of situations where, do we have this tack? Do we not have it? I didn't even think about it. I put the tiller over, and we're having fun. So it ended up, I think, being a little more free and open-minded and having fun helped with that.
It is supposed to be a fun sport, yeah. So, James, we follow this every year because we have a lot of Aussie and New Zealand RFIs, requests for invitations. Where the hell did you come from?
Well, I started my sailing career on the bow, on the pointy end,
So did I. Awesome. Till my chest fell.
for a very long time. I did a lot of sailing with someone from our club, Royal Sydney, Zach West. So I've done a lot of sailing with him. And I started steering about a year and a half ago. Did some of the grade 3s back home. Did all right. This last year did even better again. And yeah, we're just keeping on building.
Well, you've had as I said earlier, we do a spreadsheet with all the Oz and New Zealand teams just because there's so many regattas and so many qualified sailors. And you jumped off the page at me, and I went, Jesus, who is this guy? But you've acquitted yourself exceptionally well there. I think the squadron would be very happy. What's your attitude now going into this 0 and 2?
Well, we're the light. So we're probably 30 kilos. So what's that, 70, 75 pounds under the weight limit. So we were We were struggling a bit today with, we were always feeling a bit high and slow compared to Morgan. He could really get the rumble on through the chop. But we felt, even with that, we were very competitive. So if the forecasts are to be believed, it's meant to be a little bit lighter tomorrow. So we're excited for those conditions. And yeah, I mean, Morgan got us 3 miracles today. So maybe we can get our 3 miracles tomorrow. So.
Well, that one finish between you two, yeah, I'd say you're doing pretty well with being a little light. That was the most exciting finish we've seen in a long time, but that was great. I don't know what else to ask. Basically, I'm what a neat thing that the guy that was in 7th had a chance and made the most of it. And James, you've sailed probably as consistently as anyone in this regatta this year, and consistency is a good thing. How long have you been sailing with your crew? Since you're new to steering,
Yeah, I'm new to steering, but I've sailed with these guys even when I was on the bow for probably 3 or 4 years. So we've done a lot of sailing together over the past time. So that's probably one of our advantages, is we're really in sync with each other, and we're enjoying that. So.
Well, I think we've noticed with Cole Tapper's victory in the Congressional Cup after he won the Governor's Cup last year, I think we pretty much established that youth match racing is pretty much as good as the open match racing. And again, with both of you guys, the coordination in the crews that you guys, I've never seen some of this stuff as good as I've seen it this year. It just is nobody, you make a little mistake and you're in trouble. But they are little mistakes. And the crew is, saving everyone just because some of those spinnaker sets and the takedowns are just incredible. So, yeah, Morgan's looking at his crew and they're, oh, come on, shucks, don't say that. Anyway, I couldn't be more pleased, and I'm very excited about tomorrow. And we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Thanks, Andy.
Thanks.
James Hayhoe, Morgan Pinckney here, the other semifinalist pair. Andy, I think we should ask this audience, after what we saw today, and we talked with a lot of the sailors over the last 2-3 days about you know what I'm going to ask.
I hope you are.
What do you think of the current modern America's Cup?
Let's give them 2 options.
You go ahead. You go ahead.
Okay, you have 2 options, and we want a vote here. You can either go with these 4-person video game boats that I remember watching the first one on Tom Eamon Sailing Illustrated and the comments, and one of the boats came off the foils in attack, and I said, I've blown attack before, but I've never lost 750 meters doing it. Okay, that's one choice. Keep the same boats. with 4 people on board, or an
And
80
batteries.
and batteries, yeah, which when you capsize can burn, which they did, or an 80-foot or 85-foot planing monohull that can go 25 knots easy downwind and 14 upwind with a fully crewed boat and spinnakers. What do you think?
And with racing like we've seen this week.
Yep. So, okay, how many are for the current America's Cup? That's an umpire that likes umpiring on a jet ski. How many are for the 80 or 85-foot planing monohulls? Well, I couldn't agree with you more. There is nothing more fun. I mean, the 12 meters are just awesome to match race. And I was been tactician on maxi boats. We've done that in a match race. And it's, Jim Kilroy, the owner of Kilo, at one point said, "Are you sure we can get that close?" "Absolutely, Jim. No problem. It's not my boat." But anyway, that's good. And that's what we expected. And that's pretty much been the attitude since they started doing this. As I've said many times, we had in 2016, we had the Governor's Cup, the Congressional Cup, and the America's Cup here at Balboa Yacht Club. And that used to be the pathway. And that was certainly mine, and a whole bunch of other Governor's Cup sailors have gone Governor's Cup, Congressional Cup, America's Cup. That still should be true. And, I have on a 50-footer, we had 2 bowmen that are as good as any bowman I've ever sailed with in any of the America's Cup campaigns or the maxi boats, and there's no place for them. That's just ridiculous. So thank you. You made my day with that.
Andy Rose, thank you very much for another semi. I don't know how many years we've been doing this. That was one of the better ones. You did not ask why one of the sailors chose the 3rd place boat instead of the 4th place boat, but maybe we'll do that another time. Well, that's a tough question, and it was very interesting. We were all talking about it, but you have to admit that somebody who is 17 years old on their 3rd Gov Cup, going from 12th to 7th to in the hunt, in the semifinals, Bravo Zulu to all 4 teams. Fantastic stuff. You got final word to Andy.
How many people would say with Sienna Nichols has 5 years more in the Governor's Cup? Let's take a poll. How many think that she will win 1? How many think she will win 2? How many 3? I'm sure she would love to set the record. Jeffrey Peterson is one of the 14 of us that have won 2. But if anybody's going to do it, it's going to be Sienna. So congratulations to all. Great stuff. We can hardly wait to get out on the water tomorrow. And we'll see you in the morning and then online, with the videos. And then we'll see you at the press conference.
That's it. 0900 tomorrow morning here for the morning show. 11:30 for the live racing. And then back here tomorrow night for the prize giving, the award ceremony. And before that, the finalists press conference, all wrapped into one. Commodores, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end. Thank you very much. See you tomorrow.